Get me while I'm. Oh my
All right.
God. She is a great dog. Oh, hi. Go game, go. Welcome.
I love that start.
Who starts a show like that?
Start off crying.
Yeah, I think it's the best way, though. I love that start.
All right,
We
welcome
have another
everyone.
Canadian guest.
We're doing a show about shooters, shmups, shoot 'em ups. What do you prefer?
I like shmups personally, or STGs, but I think shmups is just the one I use the most.
I think
STGs
STG
is more-
sounds like something we don't want to talk about.
That's like the after hours session that we do.
It rhymes with STDs. I
We'll
don't.
talk about that on Go Game Go After Dark.
Yeah.
When we talk about Debbie Does Dallas in another movie version.
So we've got Dace from Shmuptopia. Dace, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your channel?
Yeah, sure. So, well, interestingly enough, my dedicated shmup channel is pretty new compared to my original YouTube channel. And the reason I started a dedicated shmup channel was because it got to the point where my original channel was just becoming swamped, excuse me, with shmups. So I was just kind of thinking, like, you know what, if I don't do something drastic, shmups are literally going to just dominate what I have here. So I was like, okay, I'm going to break away, do something completely different where shmups can just shine on their own. Right. And that's kind of the beginning of it. Yeah, it's been great so far, just kind of having a place to dump all that stuff in one location.
A shmup swamp.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you still update your other channel?
I do and I don't. Like right now, I'm not really doing videos because I'm not playing anything but shmups. Like I just have phases here and there where I'm really into grinding something out or whatever, and then I'll go back if I'm continuing like an RPG or something like that. So right now it's pretty dry over there, but I'm doing more with the shmup channel right now. So yeah, it's kind of a balance that I sort of maintain.
Right. Yeah, you get one built and then you'll level them out.
Yeah.
I think I started watching you on the old channel first.
Yeah, you might have. Yeah.
Was it Stonebreak Productions?
Stonebeak, actually.
Stonebeak? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Stonebeak Productions.
Okay. All right, I did then.
Oh, Darren is here. Welcome.
I was forgetting to look over there.
Yeah, I want to make sure I do look over there. So Darren, for those who are wondering, is one of my closest friends. I've known him since like probably over 20 years ago. So yeah, welcome.
Like me and Jeff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is the 20-year club. That's it.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So when did you start playing shmups? Dace?
Okay, so that's an interesting one.
What did you grow up
Remember
with?
the first one?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. So my first one was Solar Striker on Game Boy. Wow. Which was also the first Game Boy game that I ever had. And there's a whole story behind that where I was going to buy it off of my buddy because he didn't want it. And then I went over to get the game. His mom couldn't find it. So I went home, probably was just distraught for hours or something. But while I was passed out from the emotional trauma, my mother went over, tracked it down, brought it back, and when I woke up, it was just there, and I was like, "Oh, what?" So that was my first.
You're gonna make me cry again. Come on,
just let it out, Stu.
Oh, this is amazing.
But yeah, so
box of tissues.
Yeah, we're gonna be crying all night.
Just toilet.
Yeah, that was the first one, and interestingly enough, at that point, my young mind had no idea what a genre was or that there were more games like this. So I played Solar Striker, but it was just like any other video game. It was just okay, it's just a game. So I went from that game to when Steriden Binary Stars came out for the Switch. In between that, however many years, I didn't play a single shmup.
What?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Oh wow, so you're fairly new because
totally.
just came out. Yep. What?
2018 is when it hit the Switch. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So since then, I played that one and was like, this is an amazing game. And then after that, it was like a snowball effect. I just started lapping up whatever new shmups were coming to the Switch, and it just became the biggest genre for me. and an all-consuming force.
I loved your video on Terra Force the other night.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's rough. I had a challenge with that.
Oh, I know. I was loving it because I'm the guy in the studio audience, right?
Mhm.
So I'm like at your game show where you're actually, I think of myself on the game show where I'm like, I know it, and you've played these games a lot,
Mhm.
but I can see it coming, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I wonder if he sees boom. No, he didn't see that. He didn't see that.
Oh man.
Like there was the thing where the thing comes from the bottom, and
Yeah.
you had just started going where it went horizontal. And the thing, I'm watching it go along, and I'm like, well, it can't just sit down there, and it curves up, and bam. I was like,
Man.
I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, I know the exact one you're talking about, and some of those movements, like you don't read them fast enough. You've got to know it beforehand, otherwise you're just screwed.
God, and they converged the one time the I don't know if I can do this right on the screen, but they just converged and ripped like just right on you. They like bit down on the ship. I'm like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal.
I do want to ask you a question.
Sure.
I did read the book.
Okay.
I'm going to be getting a copy of the book, but and I want to talk a little bit more about that.
Sure.
Because Jeff has a copy he can show, but he did loan me the PDF so I could check it out.
Mhm.
And I didn't get a chance to do what I wanted to, but I would love to gift you one of the things I'm getting into, and I just got my new mic and everything, is doing some audiobooks. So I would love to do an audio version of your book if you'd like.
Interesting.
Because that's how I read it the other night. I read it out loud to myself and did that. So anyway, but the book is cool. And what I wanted to ask you, though, that's outside of the book is what do you determine as in this world of shmups? How far does that range go? You have a lot of the games that I've seen you play, and the one on your shirt, R-Type, are games that are, out in space. They're ships. They're, going up against evil hordes of ships coming in and coming from behind, and yikes and all that. So does it also go all the way to like Commando? Are those shmups as well, where they're land based, but still things coming in from the top? You're still going up this way, and
yeah, like I don't really have any sort of rigid definition. Like I do and I don't.
Sure.
Like I don't mind a shmup where you're using like a human character or someone who's flying just because they have like a broomstick or whatever.
Right.
Or even some of the more the not so common ones where your character is walking on the ground,
Right.
which are pretty rare. I've only played like one or two, but
Sisters Royale's like that, right?
Yep. And that one's really cool because you have like ice patches that you can slide on and big fans that blow your character around and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I think as long as it's scrolling and stuff is coming at you and you're shooting, then that's fine.
Do you have anything like that you've played that you like, that's Earth based, like I say, like Commando is one. What's the other one? I'm trying to think of another one that I used to play. It was shoot, I can't think of it. It was Commando was one, but there was another military one where you ran up.
Oh,
what?
Go up.
Yeah.
Go up. I don't know.
You go up and they're coming from the sides, and then you had to throw grenades over the top. You know what? Bloody Wolf is kind of a shoot 'em up. That's a shmup.
Bloody Wolf. I have not heard of that one.
That's a date. Jeff and I just realized the other night, because one of our guests the other night, DJC, was noticing this box on the wall or up on my shelf. I mean, and it's a Data East game.
Crazy.
And it's for the TurboGrafx is what I played.
Yeah.
And, it's a really cool game, but it is a shmup. I mean, you're always, like you were saying the other day, you like how they go vertical and horizontal, and that's what this one does. It's totally, you're scrolling through and shooting, and things are coming at you, and then you go vertical. You got vertical, but that one is one too. But yeah, so have you played any of those? That was my question.
I don't think I have. Like, there might be one that I played on the SNES Mini, which my buddy he put like hundreds and hundreds of games on. I don't remember the title at this point, but it was one where you're kind of just like walking, or it might have been on the SNK collection for Switch. I don't remember, but it's like you're kind of just like walking around. You're not necessarily like forced. I don't remember if it's scrolls or what, but you have a gun and you're just kind of like going around, and there are tanks and other people coming from all over the place.
Yeah.
That's the SNK collection, right? Akari Warriors. I think they had like 1, 2, and 3 on there.
It might be, it might be that.
Ari Warriors. There you go, Relic.
Yeah. Thank you, Relic. that saves my ass.
How's it going? My buddy Lance is here. Have you heard about me and Lance? Lance is like in my head. He'll like say stuff, and I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, you're talking about Iron Maiden? I'm like, that's me. You're talking about this? I'm like, that's me. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So, and now I'm from New York. What are you doing?
I did want to say, make sure no one forgets, we're giving away a copy of Dace's book tonight.
Ooh.
We'll do it later on. We'll just do like, we'll pick number. We'll have people in chat. I'll write down a number from like 1 to whatever, and then one of us will have written down the secret number.
Awesome.
So that'll be cool. Do you prefer, Dace, vertical or horizontal shooters, or do you not care?
Typically, I think out of the ones I have on Switch, if I was to do it by how many I have that are vertical or horizontal, I probably have more vertical than I do horizontal. That being said, I really do love both, but I seem to lean more towards the vertical ones. Not necessarily for any particular reason. Like if a shmup is awesome, then I'm going to play it. It doesn't really matter which way it's scrolling, but I think there's just something
about vertical I just really like. I don't know why.
No, I think there are great things about both. It really depends. Like if I kind of imagine like vertical shmups being done horizontally, like for instance, I really enjoy Danmaku Unlimited 3. If I was thinking about that in a horizontal form, I probably wouldn't want to do that. But yeah, maybe it's just because I'm so used to it the way that I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you gone some more retro, and have you ever checked out things like Tiger Heli or what Dragon Spirit? Wasn't that the one where they had it on the TurboGrafx? Which was Dragon Spirit?
Yeah, that's on TurboGrafx.
Yeah,
that's vertical.
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I haven't heard of Tiger Heli. I'm pretty sure I've heard of Dragon Spirit, but I haven't played it. I do dip into as many retro shmups as I can, as long as they're on the Switch, because that's just what I play.
Right.
And the handful that my friend has put onto the SNES Mini.
Cool.
But yeah, the Switch has the Arcade Archives releases, which are sweet. There are so many of those. And it's just a great opportunity to jump into some of those super punishing shmups, like as you saw with the last one.
I would love to see you play some of the classic games that I played, and because again, yes, I would make it. I do pretty good. What is TurboGrafx? Thank you, Autumn. That's a great question. We'll get into that, but I would love to see you play some of those, because you do have a great skill for doing those, and I can see that you've built a skill. Oddly enough, my wife and I are watching The Queen's Gambit currently, and how her skills in chess, the more you learn, the more you do. And
totally.
And it kind of reminds me of your book and how you describe your mental approach to the game.
Yep.
And also how you talk about just applying an easy work into those games. Don't stress yourself on the hardest stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's, to be honest, the thing that inspired me to make this book is just seeing countless people constantly saying like they can't play these games. They want to play them, but they can't, or they're too hard. And it's like, well, they're meant to be very demanding. They're meant to crush you. You're not going to be this master the first time you sit down and play the game. Like,
right.
that's the whole point. Like, you've got to put the time in, and it turns a lot of people off, and they may never come back to these games. And I wanted to kind of just remedy that, because for me, this is like the best genre there is. Like, there's like everything you put into these games, you're going to get something out of it. It's just very rewarding. And I wanted to kind of just start bringing down the barriers that people are dealing with, that they kind of create within themselves. So yeah, it was just a matter of, okay, well, how can I break it down in a way that is going to be manageable for people to just start kind of chipping away at a few things, start seeing some success, and build on it from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I had something in mind, and then that's what happens. Sometimes you got something in mind, but I'm truly listening to what you're saying. I'm like,
yeah, no worries.
And then there goes my question. I was like, I don't want to sit here and, that's always the tough thing about an interview thing too. You're like, well, I want to listen. I don't want to just sit here with my next question.
Shmups are such a weird thing for me because I'm not very good at them. But I love, they're beautiful games to watch.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing I was going to say. Yes. Thank you.
And they're a ton of fun. And like Dace is saying, the reward is like just playing them over, because usually they're pretty short.
Yeah.
Like 45 minutes to an hour. A lot of them are. And the whole point is not to be too easy. Otherwise, you're kind of go right through it. So you have to practice over and over and over. And for some of them, learn patterns. And
totally.
but when you see them in action, they're just beautiful games. There's so much going on. I can see why some people who really haven't played them, they watch one, they're like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, it's just explosions and stuff flying around. It's like, I don't even know who you are. What's going on in this game?
Yeah, the perfect example for me anyway, just from a few days ago, I was playing Crimson Clover, and Autumn in the chat is actually my partner, and she was watching behind me. And of course, there were like 1 billion gold stars all over the place because you're just killing that many enemies. And she was just like, I have no idea what's even happening here. But it's like, yeah, when you're the one playing it, you know exactly what you're doing. And yeah, it's funny how, it looks like absolute chaos, and it is, but there's a way to kind of dance with that chaos.
Well, and I do think about that. It is like chess. It's like that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to see the next move before that move is made. And then you have to think about it. I'm going to go this direction, or I need to sit. Have you found, that's probably too much of a crap question, but have you ever found patterns within the games where you realize after playing maybe one title enough that you see a pattern of a shower of bullets? There's always those little dot bullets that go up blue.
Yeah.
They converge in, and all of a sudden you're stuck in this trap, and there's nowhere to go.
You're trying to move your ship like really
like
small, like trying to get through.
And I've seen you do it.
Yeah, like, it's strange because, like, I know there are patterns, and I do feel it's important to memorize the ones that you can spot. Right. For some of the bullet hell games where things are just crazy, sometimes it's just a matter of like entering a trance mode and just letting your subconscious pull you through. Because unless you're going to be watching replays and kind of remove yourself from the cockpit for a minute, like when I think what I want to say is, like, when you're playing, you're not necessarily going to focus as much on seeing the bigger picture, but you can do that when you check out replays or you watch YouTube videos or something and study it that way, or just do it enough if you're going to do that, which I have done for some games. But yeah, I would say, like, there definitely are patterns that I can recognize at times. It just really depends on the game. Like, some of the ones I play are randomly generated, like Sterden doesn't follow. I think every single run is like always different.
Sterden is one. It's like a roguelite.
Yeah, definitely. So in that sense, that one's that can be a little more tricky to deal with, because you never know what's going to come. Whereas in most other shmups, you can just memorize what's coming next,
right,
and prepare. But
wow,
yeah.
I just popped this on the screen real quick for Autumn so she can see the TurboGrafx.
Yeah.
Okay.
There
you go, Autumn. Yeah. It was
one of my all-time favorite systems.
Absolutely. The
Amazing.
graphics were amazing. And it was, as we've said, though, Jeff, right? It wasn't a true 16-bit.
Yeah, they said it was 16-bit, but it wasn't. It was an 8-bit. It was a little bit better than.
It was like a turbo 8-bit is what it was.
Yeah.
You know, the graphics were amazing.
But it could pump out really good graphics. And there was something special about the color palette. It had a different color palette than Super Nintendo and Genesis. So you could kind of tell that they were TurboGrafx games.
And I'm not ignoring you. I'm doing this.
All good.
Yeah, whatever, Jeff. Just you keep yapping. No, I just wanted to show Autumn this too, because the games came like this in a jewel case. And you open them up, see how it's like that. This is what I do with all my jewel cases. CDs, if anybody wants to know, that's the best thing to do. Turn them sideways. But then you open them up, and this is what the game was. It was this card, and that's what slipped into that little slot that was right there on the top.
So cool.
Yeah, they're kind of like credit cards. They're like fat credit cards.
And that would make contact inside the system. So just an amazing system and great games. And I don't know how much you're into music, Dace. Are you into music much?
I am, but oddly enough, I don't listen to music too often. When I do, it's pretty much like stuff from video games, to be honest.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Love it. Oh, Darren says he hadn't heard of it either. I know what I wanted to ask. Jeez. Yeah, here we go. Good. I'm glad Darren posted that and you put that up there. So are you familiar with a lot of the talk about the Amico?
No, I'm not. So if you want to ramble for like an hour, I'm totally fine to listen to that.
Well, no, there's plenty of other stuff to talk about. I'm just saying one of the classic shmups for us is Moon Patrol. And they've upped it now and done all these cool graphics for it and everything. So and I just was wondering if you checked it out yet, but you haven't.
No.
But he can still download it on the phone, right? And do this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I was trying to find my mini. I have a TurboGrafx mini.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, I thought
anyone who's
just came out recently.
Anyone who hasn't even played a TurboGrafx, you can get one on Amazon for I think they're $100.
Okay, yeah.
And it comes with like 50 something games.
I don't know if you can put up you're familiar though with what Moon Patrol is?
Jeff, is that the one you did a video on recently where you were talking about it and you had like some footage in the background or something? Or am I thinking of something else?
If you can find us,
I don't think I've ever done it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done one on there.
Yeah, see if you can find a still shot of the original that's pink and blue and very rudimentary back in the day. And then we have he can find probably a video of the new one. But yeah, you can download the app, the Intellivision app, and then it's got a sample of the game. You can play Moon Patrol. It's the first level.
Wild.
And I think you'll love it. I think you will.
The original Moon Patrol is on. It's on the Switch as well.
Oh yeah, okay.
Crazy. Yeah, I must check that out then.
Yeah, just like your Terra Force, you can go and check that out and
die a bunch, and then yeah.
Now what they're doing on the Amico, and this is something else I wanted to mention because it goes back to what you were talking about, how people feel about the games and how maybe they're hard. But in the new Amico system, they're talking about the big thing about it is that it'll make it, if it seems a little too heavy for someone, it'll be a little intuitive and it can help level some things out so that it's not so crazy. Instead of choosing an easier level, it'll understand that and it'll be a little more intuitive and make it a little easier on some areas.
That's super fascinating.
Here's the old arcade game. It's
yeah, I was just looking at some of those pictures myself. Oh man.
So I would love to see a Shmuptopia video with that.
Oh man, I will definitely check that out. It's interesting because I have most of the arcade archives on my wish list, but I don't think I've ever come across this one. So I'll take a closer look and see about snagging that.
And then you'll love it. And that's when I say everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. I'm curious. You said you took a break from Game Boy to Starendon, which was just 2 years ago. So you've gotten, because you've got to be one of the best players around, because I saw in your Power Roomie, you were what, number 3 in the world?
On the Switch leaderboard, I'm currently sitting at 3. I'm so close to second place, and I'm obviously shooting for first.
It's just crazy to go from 2 years ago, basically never playing a shmup, to being that good. Was there anyone that, like any friends or anything that are big in the shmups that you kind of leaned on as far as advice? Or
when I got into it, I was the only person I knew that loved shmups, to be honest. So honestly, the only thing that I would say was responsible for just like my progression was the fact that I wanted to crush these games. I wanted to dominate and just get better and better and better, and not let these games beat me. So that's what it's been. And that's a very generalized way of saying it, but yeah.
what made you play Starendon? If you hadn't really been,
I think at the time I was just really into roguelikes and roguelites. And I saw this was coming out and I was like, oh, that's so cool, because instead of like running around with a character in like a platform kind of situation, it's a ship and everything is randomized and you have all these different power-ups and bosses and stuff, and everything just looked crazy cool to me. So I was just sold on it the moment I saw the announcement trailer. And yeah, the rest was history. Now it's interesting because I played that, and being my first shmup in 20 years or so, or whatever it was, that was a very challenging game for me. I think for the second last boss, I was stuck on him for weeks on end. And it got to the point where it was like, what have I got to do to beat this thing? But after Starendon, I started playing some other shmups like Danmaku Unlimited 3. That was the first bullet hell I had ever played. It was like, wow, Starendon is easy compared to like what you're now dealing with in these other games. So it was kind of an eye-opener going from Starendon to, yeah, just the really crazy ones. But yeah.
Yeah, I got Starendon when it came out, and I was like, wow, the shmup genre really fits the roguelike genre. And
yeah,
are there any others that are like that?
There's Rebel Galaxy. I think there's a subtitle to that one. That one came out last year. It was all right. It didn't wow me like Starendon. The thing that really helps me gauge the quality of a shmup, or just how much I'm going to enjoy it or whatever, is like the fact that some games can take you ages to actually work your way through. This one I think I beat in a single sitting, the Rebel Galaxy. So when you can kind of just breeze through a game without trying, it's kind of like, okay, well, it doesn't live up to these other ones. So like, it's still cool. I would recommend checking it out if you ever see it on sale or whatever. But yeah, there's just some that I prefer and others that are like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and everyone check out Dace's channel, Shmuptopia.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was telling Stuart, I was like, I really like your videos because, first of all, your voice is very calming.
Oh, thank you.
So it's very relaxing to watch, even though you're watching shooters. It's still relaxing. And I just love the way you have. It's like this really. This isn't an insult, but like a childlike appreciation for these games.
Oh, totally.
By that, I'm talking about, you see the graphics and you're like, wow, look at these graphics. You seem to be so happy or amazed with everything that you see in these particular games. And it's just, it's kind of a refreshing look at games.
Yeah.
So many people, they play games, they'll spend their whole time complaining about it.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And I know you have games you don't like, and you'll mention stuff. But for the most part, you seem to gravitate towards all the positive stuff of the game.
Definitely. I think it's just something I strive for in general, not just gaming, just to be more positive and just to see and appreciate what we have. So in that sense, it's very easy for me to zero in on what a game is offering you as opposed to the things that you would like to have there that aren't, or the things that you would complain about. It's just like, who has time for that? Like you paid for this game, you might as well be enjoying it. Otherwise, do your research and maybe don't buy it in the first place.
Yeah, I probably have to say the phrase that I would think comes to mind is you revel in the experience, not complain about the issues.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It was cool. Could you explain, just so that for the millions of viewers out there, what do you mean when you say? Because there's two phrases you use in the book, and I'm blanking on the second one. But when you talk about certain games, you talk about bullet hell games.
Okay, so the way I differentiate, like when I say bullet hell, I mean anything where you have entire screens full of like mesmerizing, crisscrossing, super intricate like attack patterns. Whereas other shmups won't necessarily, like, there will be chaos all over the place, but not that kind of chaos. So that's just how I differentiate shmups and bullet hells. Bullet hells are the ones where you can have a whole screen full of thousands of things that you're like, just like microscopic adjustments to weave through it. What's like a shmup that isn't a bullet hell? I know there are oodles.
I mean, I wouldn't consider this a bullet hell, would you?
I don't think so. Yeah, really? I haven't played that one in ages though, so I don't really recall the details.
But for the most part, the screen isn't filled with bullets, a ton.
Yeah. Like if you look at Rolling Gunner, for instance, like the final boss on the hardest difficulty, like there are times where there's more space on the screen taken up by enemy fire than there is for actually flying around. So that's like, to me, that's a bullet hell through and through.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was shmups and bullet hells. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that, but I didn't know that was it.
Yeah, so basically bullet hell is just like almost like a subgenre of the.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah. I think someone asked a question. I don't want to ignore it.
Papa Pete had a question. Is this what you're talking
about? But is it a game that anyone would breeze through, or just one that you breeze through because you're so adept at shmups? And that's the thing. Like I don't really have an answer. Like I think people who are skilled in shmups in general, like, may have an easier time. It's tricky because like I can't speak for anyone else. I can kind of just based off my one experience with that game, because I didn't return to it. I played it that first day and then I was done the game, and that was kind of that. So
I guess also I was wondering too, as we're speaking about new and retro stuff, retro wise, have you played Defender?
Defender.
That was like one of the first games that, was, out there, as like Asteroids was out there, and of course Galaxian, and Defender was a big one.
Definitely. I haven't played Defender myself.
Okay.
I've definitely watched YouTube videos on that one though.
That's a game I would love to see reimagined, just like Moon Patrol. I would love to see that one really beefed up and have some really cool graphics, because it was a great, it was a great game of back and forth. You used your skills to, you see a ship coming, nope, and then you back it off, and then and you go. Sometimes you can get it from the other side. So it had a lot of tricks and play like that.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, it's a neat one.
Yeah, there are an absolute ton that just were rolling out way back, because I've looked up lists and just you see like, oh, how many came out in the 90s and the 80s and all this stuff. And I would love to see either just the originals dumped onto the Switch, since that's what I have.
Right.
Or reimagined ones, like you say, would be really cool.
Yeah. Oh, there, Papa Pete's is a good answer. He says, I'm just thinking that I'm not good at shmups. So on occasion, it's nice to play something that I can struggle through.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I would just recommend. Well, here's the thing too. Like people who don't think they're good, it's like why. Like there are two ways you can take it. You can say, okay, like what are easier games that I can play, but at the same time, why not challenge yourself and just say to yourself, like, you know what, I can play these harder games. And
Right.
I'm just going to do it. I'm going to put the time in.
Right.
Because I think people would more often than not, if they just kind of really dedicate to it for a little bit, they would start to see that they can do these things that they've been telling themselves they can't. So I would encourage you to check out Steriden if you haven't. Papa Pete, and because like in terms of how it plays, it's way better than Rebel Galaxy. It's like it's one I come back to time and time again, and just I couldn't tell you how many tens and tens and tens of hours. It's not one that I've put hundreds of hours into, but for what it is, I've played a significant chunk. So
That's outstanding.
Lord Shmup made a good point here. Dace, what would you say would be some good shmups for people to play who just haven't played much because they're kind of like,
yeah, to be honest, the best advice I would give is just what looks the coolest to you, what looks the prettiest. Like if you see something that catches your eye and you like the colors, or you think of like the boss in that screenshot looks so awesome.
Yeah.
Just play that one. Like seriously, like most of these shmups are going to have different difficulty settings anyway, so you can drop it down to the lowest, and that way you can just kind of work your way up or see where it is you fit in that scale. But it's really so dependent on who someone is and what's going to make them tick the most.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times I actually have two things to talk about. When you mentioned everything we were just talking about the skills and working your way through it. I'll never forget when we got the Wii years ago, and I spent $30 on the ported version of Resident Evil 4. And I was scared to death playing it, first of all, just because things were coming, and I'm like, and then you're out of bullets, and you're like, okay, wait a minute, I can't just waste bullets. I got a certain number of bullets. So your brain starts to work and become a little more mechanical about it, and you become a cold-hearted bastard, and you start killing things very well. But the thing about it is I got to the third level, and I met up with the guy who sells the all your different gear and things like that for the first time, and then I walk out into this mining area where they have rope bridges and all this stuff, and I died, 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 and it's probably 5 more, and and I thought, oh my God, I just wasted $30. I thought, no friggin', and then I just stuck with it, and just like you said, I stuck with it, and I beat the whole game, and I ended up getting the big guns and all the extra stuff, and you just stick with it.
Yep.
And you nail it. You just
absolutely.
And then it's like my age-old thought is, I suck at those games. Well, with that attitude, you're right.
Yeah, it's so true. Like as long as someone wants to tell themselves that, like that's it. That's how it is. But it doesn't need to be that way.
No, not at all. Not at all. Now, there's one thing I wanted to get into too about your book, because I would love people to get excited about your book. It's an economical buy. You can get it on Amazon, correct? Can you get it from you? Is there anywhere else you can get it?
At the moment, I think it's just Amazon and a place. Well, actually, I think it's on a site called Ingram Spark, but I think that's for like wholesale. And then if stores want to buy it, then that's where they get it from.
Oh yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
I get you.
But Amazon is the main place.
Well, cool. For anybody who joined us afterward, we are giving away a copy of the book. And I wanted to ask, because we have some of these gentlemen all of these guys have great things to say, but I know there's some of the gentlemen that are here or that we've spoken with, we've seen their shows, and things like this, that are so knowledgeable and have so much cool stuff to say that, and I'm a writer myself. I like to write.
Oh, cool.
And for anybody who might be thinking about doing a book, how many pages? Let me ask. There's a million questions I want to ask you to build on this. But how many? Let's just start with how many pages are there to your book?
It's a very short read. There are about 48 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
therein lies my point. It doesn't have to be a freaking novel.
Oh, exactly.
This is a wonderful book about encouragement and games and gameplay. This is about how to approach the game. A view of how to approach games, a certain type of game. Then, how did you end up deciding? What was the storyline behind? Well, I love shmups. Well, I know a lot of people that would love shmups if they just give them a chance, and I could talk to them about how to do this. How did you formulate all that?
To be honest, I've always thought about the fact that physical books or even ebooks are not really the medium for shmups. And I was like, you know what? It would be cool if I had something where I could physically pick up a book on shmups and just read. And so I went on Amazon and I saw a total of 2 books. And I was like, you've got to be joking me. Like, there's nothing else. And
I was going to ask you that because I was like, are there even any other books about?
Yeah, like there are just 2 other ones. And it got me thinking about just the main issue I see is people struggling. So I was like, you know what? That could really help people if they're in that boat where it's like they just want a few pointers to clean up and get started or whatever, or just improve if they're already playing shmups, then it's a great opportunity to help those people out and also just, add more to the ridiculously low book count that shmups have.
To help a shmup out, man.
Yeah, totally.
Help a shmup out.
It's a genre that honestly needs all the attention and love and support it can possibly get. It's amazing because it's one of the oldest genres ever.
Right.
And yet it's not doing what a lot of other genres are doing. So
that's interesting. It was, shooters back in the late 80s, early 90s were really huge. They were all over the place.
Yeah.
And then it really just kind of disappeared almost for a long time. And what's great now, especially on the Switch, is they're just making a big comeback.
Full force. It's
There's
ridiculous.
so many on the Switch. It's crazy. Yeah. There's dozens and dozens of them.
Yeah. There are a preposterous amount right now. I think I have around 100 shmups on the Switch, and that's like 1/4 of all the games I have. So that's saying a lot about how much I love those games.
Wow.
But we're just getting started. Like, there was a list someone on Twitter shared a couple of weeks ago, and it's like we're starting with like 21 more shmups, some of which are like older ones from way back that are coming. Other ones are like newer ones and all this kind of stuff. So I feel like by the time the Switch gets to its, like the end of the timeline, there are just going to be hundreds and hundreds of shmups. It's going to be one of the best systems for shmups, honestly.
What are your favorite games, Dace?
Within the shmup genre?
Yes.
Oh, man. That is tricky. I would say Sterden is always going to be one that I have a special spot for because it's
How do you spell that?
It's Stereden. I suppose I could type it out. I don't see
I need to check that out.
Yeah, please do.
Relic Gamer, I really liked what he was. Did you see what he was saying?
I'm going to read that right now.
Yeah, he said, this is cool. I'm really getting more into books based on video gaming. I just received Howard Warshaw's new book.
I've never heard the name before, but I would love to.
He was an old Atari programmer. He programmed Yard's Revenge, which is one of the best games in the Atari, and he also did E.T.
Yeah, Yar's Revenge. That's a shmup, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard of it.
That's a horizontal.
You just got like the one thing shooting at you.
Yeah.
It's a really good game, though.
Yeah. Oh, and here's one too. is there a way, Jeff, for him to check this one out?
We're dying.
Not that I know of.
This was on the obviously on the TurboGrafx too.
Yeah.
But I would love to see the Amico pick this up, because this is a great. It's a multiplayer as well, and you fly through. It's a horizontal shmup. There's Perry. Look at that. That's a cute outfit. Now come on.
Sweet.
You know what's going to have to happen one of these days? It's going to have to be like Cher, and Perry will have to make a return in a different outfit.
Yeah.
But this is really cool. You make your way through it, and then there's shops where you can you can buy other weapons and things like that. So it's not so much just a thing floating that you've destroyed something and grab.
Yeah.
But you can go in and buy certain things with the money that you get. I was sucking at it when I replayed it just recently, but I am positive that I can make it through it.
Yeah, I believe in you, man. For sure.
Thank you.
And Dace, if you really want to check out some shooters, really check out TurboGrafx sometime. I know. Even if you have to emulate, because I mean, it's really easy to emulate that system.
To be honest, I have been thinking about obtaining one of those, because my buddy Boffner, he is huge into that, and he just said, man, there are just so many golden shmups on this system.
Yeah.
Like that is the system to get if you want to be getting some of the older stuff too.
That's what it was mostly known for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
let me see. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I don't know any other way to play that other than literally buying a TurboGrafx and buying the game, or through emulation. I've never seen that on a collection or anything.
What?
Ordine.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the only way. I think it's the only two ways to do it, because it's not on the Mini, the TurboGrafx Mini. Unfortunately, that would have been a great one to put on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what. Then let's use this as a moment to think. Well, let's do that soon, Jeff. Let's get together with my system, and we'll throw this in and play. And we'll dedicate our show to Dace.
Man, that would be amazing to see. I would love that.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of two-player, do you ever play any two-player shmups?
No, to be honest, I have plenty of two-player ones, but most of my game time is just solo. So in that sense, there's nothing really that gets hit up in two-player mode. Now, interestingly enough, I am really excited for when my physical copy of Rival Mega Gun shows up. Have you guys heard of that one?
No.
Yeah. Is that the one that has two people?
Yeah.
It's kind of like
it sounds so good.
Twinkle Star Sprites, is that the name of the game?
I heard of that one.
Where you can actually send stuff over to the other person as you're playing.
Oh,
that's kind of like that game, isn't
it? Yeah, exactly. So you can, depending on how well you're playing on your side of the screen, you can like have stuff dumped on their side, so they have more to contend with. And I think if you hit like a certain level on your like whatever meter you're charging up, you become a boss, and you shift over to their side, and it's like you're the boss, and you're like shooting down at them and stuff. So I'm really, really stoked to check it out.
So you're playing
where did you order that from?
Yeah, you're playing again, like you're playing your own vertical scrolling shmup, but you're also attempting to screw your whoever you're playing with. You're wanting to screw them over, and you're playing against them when you're on their side too, as like a boss. I think it's the coolest idea.
Dace looks like Autumn wants to play two-player.
Yeah, like I think some of the Darius games are two-player, if not all of them.
Did she just throw down a virtual gauntlet?
Maybe she did.
Maybe when it comes to that game, but not on the other ones.
I know.
You get to work together on those.
Yeah, for sure. Lord Shmup in the chat, my buddy Trev. I know he was interested in Rival Mega Gun 2, so I'm not sure. Whenever it is we get this game, I'm sure him and I would boot that one up too.
I didn't even know it was on. I didn't know it was physical, because I've gotten.
It's First Press Games. It's been in the works for a while, because I ordered that I think early last year, and it's still not out. But yeah.
Okay, so it's the time to order is long gone.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's limited though. I think like if you want, you can still order it because they're not one of those companies where they only have like 1,000, and if you don't get it, then screw you.
Mhm.
Has anybody ever really said that? Wow.
I'm not sure, but that's how I'm wording it.
That's their tagline.
I'm telling you what we're going to say. It's going to be all over. If you don't get it, screw you.
Yeah.
Should have thought ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I love that, Jeff. I'm glad you threw up Pete's thought there. So that would be great. And are there some of the shmups that are 2-player on the Switch that we could play with Dace?
I would want to check if.
I mean, online.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about.
Wow, I don't know if there are any online. There's definitely a lot, sitting at local.
Yeah, that's something I will look into because it would be sweet to start playing some shmups with you guys.
Yeah.
It would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be most awesome.
If you ever played, Lord Schwab just said that Rival Mega Gun's never gone on sale digitally. Another one I've never seen go on sale is Devil's Engine. Have you ever played that?
Oh man, it's so good, and yet it's the game I tell no one to buy because of the whole mess that happened between the developer and the publisher.
Oh, didn't they get screwed out of their money?
Yeah, like I think the publisher stole the what's the word? The something rights. There's a specific term.
Like publishing rights or like
what was it? I'm not sure I'm going to think of it, so I won't take the time. But yeah, so essentially the person who made the game doesn't have any rights to it, and they're not getting a single cent for any of the sales that happen. So I honestly love Devil Engine. It is so good, but yeah, I recommend not buying it because until that's sorted out, like you're not helping dev, and you're just this guy who stole it, you're just helping him. So
it's gone on sale once in its history on the eShop.
But
I keep checking it. It just doesn't go on sale. It's crazy.
You almost wish that Nintendo didn't have it if that's what happened. But
it would be, I'm not sure what they can possibly do to resolve it because like this has been a long thing that's been in the works and like nothing has come up from it yet. So
wow.
Yeah.
It's like the crap that happened with the guys who did Superman.
Oh, what was that about?
Well, they just they were like, well, you were working for us, so this was something you did, and they got minimal. They would get credits in the movies and anything that had to deal with it, but as far as the real heavy duty royalties from it, no.
Oh man,
no,
so not cool.
Yeah, corporate bullying. That's right, Pete. We've been through corporate bullying for years, for decades, for way too long.
Yeah. And like I cannot stress enough how good Devil Engine is. Like it feels like you're playing something from way back in the day, like based on not that I was playing like Sega Genesis shmups or whatever, but it looks old school. It feels amazing. It's super creative. It's super challenging. It's got incredible art, music, everything. But
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Dangan Entertainment. That's who distributes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Wow.
Yeah, I was just checking here on Rival Mega Gun. It's actually still on sale. I mean, you can still purchase the physical version.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't think they will ever limit it. I think it's like just there to purchase whenever people want it, which I think is the way to go.
How much is it?
I forget.
It's 38.
Okay.
What is that? €1?
Oh yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, I think so. I went with like the mega bundle or whatever. So that one was a little more, but I think the standard will be a little more reasonable.
That's a cool statement, Lord Shmup. That's pretty neat.
That's kind of how I feel when I play Crimson Clover. I mean, it was in the Japanese arcade, so I mean that makes sense. But it feels like I always kind of get the '90s Japanese shooter vibe from that game, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I feel that too. Not that I have ever played a shmup on a cabinet or anything like that, but you can just tell when something feels like it suits that kind of setting, where you can just picture yourself playing that kind of game. Like when I think about a game like Stare Den or other ones, like I don't see that fitting that kind of realm, but Crimson Clover is just a whole other beast, and it's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, that game.
I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna definitely check that out. Jeff, I'm blanking too on the name of the one that I purchased, and you told me about it, and it was about 3 months
per dollar.
It was
Vassar collection or Vasara collection. I don't know how to.
Yes.
Vasara?
Yeah. Vasara.
Yeah.
Didn't it have 1 and 2, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a sweet one. And it's crazy because on the Switch, I think that had a sale at one point for like $2 or something ridiculous.
It's gone down to $1 several times.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's when I bought it.
Yeah.
It came out, it was supposed to be $10, but if you pre-ordered it, you got it for $5.
Yeah.
I was like, $5 for 2 shooters? I'm in.
Seriously. Yeah. I enjoy those. I haven't played a ton, but those are really cool.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Those are old Japanese arcade games as well, right?
They are. And the bosses are just such a blast. It's a worthy challenge too.
Have you played some cave shmups from Japan?
I'm sure I have. Titles wise might help. Like if you can name off a few.
I'm not very good at that. Was it Dodonpachi? Is that one?
I haven't played that. I've been wanting to for so long.
I don't even know how to play it other than get some kind of an emulator because I guess they're on
Steam, I think.
They're on Steam. But
yeah. I don't use Steam, but
apparently Steam's got some great stuff for shooters.
Yeah, I think Steam has an absolute boatload. Because even though I don't play, I've at least looked on Steam at what they have, and they've got
here's
tons.
One cave shooter for Switch.
Oh yeah, I definitely have that one.
That's great.
I forgot they did that.
Now, what do you mean by cave shooter?
It's just named the company Cave.
Oh, that's the Cave. Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha.
They're well known for doing 90 shooters.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They were really popular then. I don't even know if they're still around making stuff.
I'm not even too sure.
It might be around, but I don't know if they've put anything out recently.
Yeah, but what about you guys? Like, you've been asking me questions, and I've been wanting to hear some answers from you. So, like, what are some of your top?
We have no answer. We're an answerless show. We're only questions.
That's fair. But yeah, like, what are some of your all-time favorites, or maybe like some of the hardest shmups you've ever faced, or just ones that did unique things that you've never seen before? Like,
well, I think, like I say, some of the ones that I've played over the years that I really like, if we're talking about, and again, I go back to what I mentioned earlier with Earth-based games. Mm-hmm. I love that. Commando was a lot of fun for me. That was a vertical shooter. And I really liked Dragon Spirit a lot. That was, I played that a lot. And was I great at it? No, but I think there was a point at which, and again, some of these games, oh yes, and those 1942, 1943. Thank you. Yeah, those were on this the regular NES system. Those were the war pilot game. They were vertical shooters in the same vein as Tiger Heli. I think I might still have Tiger Heli up there. I'm not sure, but yeah, thank you, Pete. Appreciate that. That was pretty much. But the Dragon Spirit, I want to remember. I think as you went, you could then have like 2 heads. I think the dragon was a single-headed dragon, and then you got bonuses, and then it had 2 heads. And
I looked up some pictures, and I see like some awesome dragon action and a 3-headed dragon. So yeah, that's super cool if that's how it works.
Yeah, that was really
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but unfortunately I don't have it anymore. But
I don't know what Mission X is. I haven't heard of that one.
I haven't either. What system was that, Lance? Yeah, that's man. I'm so glad Pete said those because that's again I just totally blanked on that.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, with so many, it's easy to just not think of the ones you loved way back or whatever the case
I really
is.
like Gunbird 1 and 2.
Oh man, when I got
Those are so fun.
God, they're so good. When I got these Psycho collections for Switch, Gunbird was the first thing I played, and I recorded it. It's like you said, how there was just like the childlike response to everything. It was that to an extreme. Like it was just so good. I love that game. Number 2 is just super awesome as well. Man.
Wow. I wrote that one down. I got to check that out.
Yeah, please do. It's one of those games where like it's so retro, but you can see how creative they got at that time. Like some of the bosses just being like this massive tank, and then you blow the wheels off, and then it's like this mech that comes out and is flying, and then like other things happen, or just yeah, they're just so good at those bosses where you'd think you're taking on one thing, but then it just like opens up, and then there's like another stage to the fighting. It's just awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, both Gunbirds are on the Psycho shooting collection.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I'd love to check that out.
Yeah, all 3 of those collections, what is it, like volumes 1, 2, and 3, they call it. Yeah, just a boatload of awesome games. I think 12 total, and they're just, to be honest, it's the most bang for your buck. If you're looking for retro stuff like that, it's worth picking those up.
There's I think there's like 3 different versions. There's a version that came here, and I think was it one version here or 2? And then either Japan had 1 or 2, because like in Japan, like these are Japanese, and all the games are on 1 and 2. And then maybe when it came here, it split out to 3. I can't remember.
Yeah, like I know they have volumes 1 through 3, and then they did something later that was like Psycho Brava and Alpha.
Yeah,
physical. And then I think there was another release as well where like there is a lot of crisscross with these games. Like if you have all of them, you're going to have like duplicates essentially. Mm-hmm. But here and there are ones like Strikers 1999 is on one of those versions. I don't remember which one. I've never played that one, but I do really like the Strikers games.
Yeah. Well, mine, this is the Japanese one. It's on volume 1.
Okay. Yeah.
And these are called the shooting library. You know what's weird about these? When you put the cartridge in the Switch, mm-hmm. it splits them into individual icons.
Yes, it does do that.
You get a main page where you select
which
game you want to play. It just looks like you have 6 games.
Yeah.
Right
there. It's interesting because my volume 3 did that, but my volumes 1 and 2 didn't do that. So yeah, I'm not sure why, but I've never heard of Time Pilot, but
that's fun. You're playing and you're kind of flying around like this in this open area, and guys are dive bomb you in different areas or different ways.
Cool. Darren says, like a false precipice, another level of boss appears. Totally.
Yeah.
And when it's done in such a creative way, like I know there's in one of the ocean levels, like you're going up against this huge
sound with owner Paul Camerata, senior engineer Jeff Neal, and producer.
What is that?
I have no clue.
Any other titles? Brian Keehaw.
I guess that's me. Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
I didn't even know how I wasn't touching anything. It just was like, look, I'm going to start.
Yeah, no worries.
By the way, Papa Pete joined the show.
Oh.
He's holding Mission X.
Maybe I've got to show off some of my physicals.
Yeah.
Because you guys are doing all that, and I want to get in on it.
Yeah, I'm eager to know if there's anywhere that I could get the. I suppose I have to just get
Give me
those.
a minute or two, because yeah.
I guess I'm just gonna have to get those like 1942, 43. I'd have to just get
Are
them
they-
on the old cartridges.
Some of them might be available digitally on single. I can't remember. I thought Gunbird was.
I need to.
Like rolling back and forth for 9 hours.
Yeah,
Oh, thank
Gunbird
God
1
you got a
and 2
rolling
were-
chair.
Gunbird 1 and 2 are available on the Switch by themselves if you want for $8 a piece.
Ooh, worth every penny.
Which
Seriously.
ones are those? That's the.
Gunbird 1
Oh yeah,
and 2.
Gunbird.
I mean, they are really good. I've got Gunbird 2 on Dreamcast.
Oh yeah, that's right. It did come out originally on Dreamcast.
And I had Radiant Silvergun on, I think, the 360.
Wow.
Because is that the one they remade? Because the original one on the Saturn is just crazy expensive.
I was looking up. I think it was Radiant Silvergun. I was looking up original copies on eBay like a month or so ago.
For Saturn?
Yeah, I think so. And it was like over $1,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
And it's like, yeah, at least there's free shipping, so that's something.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. They charge you $6 for shipping.
But yeah, I might as well just leaf through a few of these physicals for you guys. So I also have Blackbird. Really, really interesting art style for this one.
How'd you like that? I really liked it. The art, the music. It was also very strange to me.
Yeah, it is.
It's
I
like
think that's
shmup that I've played as far as
that's
the way it looked.
That's a great way of saying it. I think in ways I wasn't sure what to make of it at first, because I'm so used to just like awesome spaceships and all this stuff, and this was kind of just a very different look and feel. So it took me a little bit to get into it, but really, really cool.
Lance Jennings, I remember a game called Space Jockey on the 2600, and that was a horizontal shoot 'em up.
Did I have that one?
And
I don't know if I have that one.
if you want to consider like Demon Attack or something like that. then
Yeah, Demon Attack.
Man, what else do I have? I also have Raiden 5. I just switched the inside artwork. Like I just put the what do you call it, the cover. I just swapped that because I really enjoyed that artwork way more for the front.
Oh yeah.
I've got that. What did you think of that, Dace?
I really enjoyed it. Like I realized that was one that so many people just had an issue with, but
Yeah.
like again, I'm just going in to appreciate it and enjoy it. So like I had a blast with it. At the time, Lord Shmup was actually playing quite a bit, and he was just scoring huge on the leaderboard. And that's, I think, one of the things that got me thinking about starting to pursue scoring as well. So I started playing this one and enjoyed it. There were some things that I noticed were like, oh, okay, that's not the greatest like design choice. Like there's this one level, I think it's level 2, where it's like a red, sandy, rocky level, and the enemy fire these tiny red shots that really blend in. So it's easy to just get hit when you didn't even know that there was anything there. Yeah. So like I get why people complain about things like that, but in general, I enjoyed it for sure. I want to get back to this one at some point, to be honest.
I got it and played it and really liked it. And then I was watching some people on Twitter saying how they couldn't stand the game. I was like, wow, I'm no shmup expert or anything. So I was like, well, I really liked it. I don't know. Like I know people didn't like the concept. There's people talking throughout the whole game.
Oh yeah. I just turned that off
on the sides. Now, what I liked about that is even though I didn't have it up loud enough where I could understand them, it just kind of felt like the game was more alive because there was people in there chatting. I
can see that.
And the stuff they were saying was, just kind of goofball stuff. It was nothing here.
Yeah, it's completely irrelevant. Like,
and they had this odd online portion where people could help you out. This cheer system.
Yeah, cheers.
which is
I
very
would.
interesting. I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that before. I would typically play offline because I didn't want the help from people. Like, I'm just the way where, like, if I'm playing it, I want to earn everything that I'm going to earn in terms of like accomplishments and beating the game. So I kind of steered clear of that. But it's a neat idea for people who want that extra push during like tough times.
Here we go. I said space jockey. Here's Papa Pete with his space jockey.
Man,
I'm gonna go look over here. I think I have that.
Yeah, it truly is a shooter. It's a vertical. You're in a ship. You're shooting stuff. They're shooting you, and it's on the Atari, which is crazy.
Gorf.
I've heard the name Gorf, but I'm
Gorf. Thank you,
familiar.
Relic, for saying that, because yes, that was another one. You know, like Yar's Revenge that I was thinking of.
Gorf. I want to look this one
I
up.
did get that.
1981. Holy smokes!
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, it was a cool game, man. I loved it. And what a name. What does that name mean? Anybody? Does anybody know? I don't know. Was it?
Tim Conway had a character called Dorf.
Yeah. Dorf on golf.
What else you got, Dace?
Well, I have some of the ones you have, I think, or at least versions. So I have all three of these Psycho, which I mentioned.
And that's
So
the
yeah,
North American version?
these are actually,
Or is it Japanese?
I think these are the Japanese ones.
So,
I'm almost positive.
like on the first cartridge, how many games are on there?
4.
Okay, so this one, the one I have here has 6.
Yeah.
I think what they did is they put that one out first that you have,
Yeah, they definitely did.
and then they took the 3 and they just put more on 2. So then they reduced it to 2, and then they released it in the U.S. under another name, what you were calling it before. Which is really weird. That game has so many versions.
Yeah, definitely. There's so much crisscrossing. Well, I do have Ghost Blade.
Oh, nice.
This was actually the first shmup that I went all out in terms of score chasing. So I worked my ass off to get to first place on the hardest difficulty worldwide, and I nailed it. But I cannot tell you the hours I pumped into that game.
You mentioned that in your book, right? Isn't that the one where you didn't realize a certain scoring system until you'd been playing for days?
40 hours.
Wow.
I was in 40 hours, and then I realized, oh, if I'm closer to medium or large enemies, I will get more points when I kill them at close range.
Right.
And what's funny, though, is the fact that even without knowing that, I was still matching some of the like higher end scores. So when I was just like, I was floored when I learned this, because I was like, you mean I can start doing even better? Like, what? I just went crazy. It just blew my mind open with possibility.
That's one of those things that happened to me when I was doing the Resident Evil, because I thought I'd done everything, and then my daughter walks by the game before I started playing. I think I turned on the game and went to do some laundry stuff, and Laura comes in. She goes, "Dad, I think there's a gun you don't have yet." I'm like, "Nope, got them all." She goes, "No, I don't think you have this one." It goes on your arm, and it like shoots this big. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then sure enough, she goes, it was on the screen. And so I sat and watched the preview, and there it showed up. I'm like, I gotta get that.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. You're like, oh, I'm in.
Totally. I'm sure this is one you guys know about.
Oh, Ikaruga?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got it right here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I haven't cracked this yet. Maybe someday, but apparently there is a metal kit inside for. Is yours sealed as well?
It's sealed.
Yeah, same here, man.
When I get these like special editions, I leave them sealed until I go to play them.
Yeah.
So I'm not like never going to open it. It's just when I want to go open it, I'll open it.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. Like I have the digital as well, and so there's a higher chance this will just remain sealed for a much, much longer time. But there's something really special about just not opening it until you're actually going to play it. So I totally hear that.
I figure I might as well just wait until I really. How do you like Ikaruga, by the way? I know what.
I think it's amazing. It's super, super technical. If you want to be playing at a proficient level, which I'm not experienced in that game. But I think the polarity system is super incredible, and the visuals and everything, and just the action and just the fast pace, and just the level of craftsmanship too. Like everything is laid out in a way where if you know what you're doing, you can stay on top of it, and it literally is a dance. But yeah, if you watch like professional people playing that game who know what they're doing, it's just incredible. But yeah, so I love it. I haven't put the time into it yet.
Hey, Dace, before you show us more, what about game Pete's talking about? Is it
yes.
Mora X? Yeah,
I have played that one. I do have it. I did, I think, a first look style video, but I never went back to it. Not because I didn't enjoy it. I think I was just preoccupied with other shmups. And sometimes when I'm doing content, I'll jump into something, but I'm not going to let it distract me from the things I'm really excited to play. So I really love the way that game works with the like time slowing or whatever it was, and the visuals, like the backgrounds are just incredible. So someday I'm going to get back to that one.
I was just looking at this. Is this an Ultimate Shooting Collection for the Wii?
Interesting.
the Wii.
Yeah. Yeah, it's literally for the Wii, and it's got. I'm just trying to get to what games are on it. I was trying to.
Yeah, would love to hear that.
Ultimate Shooting Collection is a must-have for fans of the arcade shooter, and brings a classic arcade feel to your living room or wherever. I have a TV in my bathroom, so no, I don't.
I was gonna say that'd be pretty awesome.
I don't. Yeah, but it gets shitty reception. Sorry. Radilgi is definitely a bullet hell shooter, but do you get a life bar? But you do get a life bar, so it's not quite as punishing. Karas is the same type of game, but with a more somber atmosphere, reminiscent of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
I've heard people say Evangelion, but
yeah, there you go, Evangelion. That sounds right. So then they have Chaos Field.
Haven't heard of that.
Stands out. The game has no stages, only bosses.
Oh, interesting.
I think Chaos Field is a GameCube game that costs like $400 now.
What?
Oh my god! Well, you can get this Wii game for $90.
What's it called?
It's called Ultimate Shooting Collection.
Sounds ultimate.
I'm looking at it on Amazon.
Only $90.
Yeah, and what else is here? I'm looking at a review, is what I'm reading. Arguably, the most traditional of the three is Chaos Field, has a more common shmup style to it. So whoever's writing this review, CJ Iwakura, knows like stuff we or more namely you guys know. So yeah, the UGS has 3 games. It's Radio Allergy, which is Radilgy.
Right, isn't it Raddergy?
Raddergy Swag is maybe that's in the same series.
The version is a different name.
Okay, I'm only familiar with Raddergy Swag, but
I think it came out on Dreamcast as like after Dreamcast was dead.
Interesting.
Some people put that on there.
And Karus and Chaos Field. Those are the 3 games on it.
Well, I guess if you really want to play Chaos Field, be better off buying this for $90 than buying it for the
400 and something.
Yeah. Relic Gamers and every GameCube game costs $400. Just about. Ridiculous.
I wish that was true because I really want to get that Luigi's Mansion again.
Hey, Dace, here's some good TurboGrafx games: Soldier Blade, Lords of Thunder, Air Zonk, and Ordine.
Oh, Air Zonk, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to look into those. Even if it's just me watching some YouTube videos or something, I'll definitely check those out.
I think I have one of me playing. Oh, I don't know. That may have been a test. I played Air Zonk. I did a stream, but I think it may have just been a test. I don't know if I ever actually put it out because it was the first time I'd ever streamed anything.
Airzonk looks so fun.
It is fun. Have you ever played Bonk?
No, I have not. I've never even heard of that.
Okay, so Bonk he's a caveman, and it's a platform game on TurboGrafx, and it was on NES and some other stuff. But he was kind of like the mascot on TurboGrafx for a while, and so it was a game where he would literally bonk people bonk enemies with his head to knock them out.
Oh, sweet.
So they did 3 of those in TurboGrafx, and they decided to turn it into a shooter. And so instead of bonk, it became zonk, and so it was Air Zonk.
Wild.
So he's
Air Zonk.
but now he's in this futuristic area.
Yeah, what a story.
Yeah. So have you played Rigid Force?
I haven't actually. I've wanted to, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Sounds like a porn game. Sorry, I just had to say it. I'm sorry. So we have a new porn line.
It wouldn't surprise me on the Switch because we got stuff like Waifu Uncovered, for those who know about that one.
How about you have that in a box?
Well,
You want
for
that
collection purposes, I had to obtain it.
And you just said another one, Jeff.
What's that?
It's in the box. You said it, Jeff. I just should have left it alone. Should have. But it's not what I do.
You have any other good ones, Dace, in the box?
Um,
It's so cool that so many of these shooters are coming on physical because
I have this guy here, R-Type Dimensions X.
What?
is that the one where when you press a certain button, it goes back to old school graphics?
Yeah, you can switch from the modern visuals to the old school.
What's on your shirt?
You press the button.
Exactly. All thanks to Lord Shmup, who gifted this shirt to me.
Way to go, Lord Shmup. That's
Awesome.
a good friend right there.
So here's an interesting one, Shikondo Soul Eater.
Oh,
Now, a lot of people really find this one underwhelming, and I get why. There are some bugs in it and stuff like that, but at the same time, if you check out the artwork, it's just like this really dark themed horror shmup in ways. Like the bosses are like these mangled, like monster spirits, like that look like women, except they're just like, yeah, heads are severed, bodies are rotting, and all this kind of stuff. So it's pretty wild, but for what it is, it's really unique. I enjoy it, even though it's not one that I play every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
and is that a collector's edition? Because that's an awfully big box.
I think it's Play Asia's like limited edition. So pretty much the same thing. It has the soundtrack, if I'm not mistaken, and a bunch of other things.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Dace,
I won't necessarily go through all of them, but what do you got? Oh man, mine's gonna be showing up so soon. I cannot wait to play that.
Good Lord.
Is that? Oh wait, yeah, you got the.
got I know it's 6 different games. I think.
Oh my god.
I tell you, these shows, I learned so much more. I'm like, what do you got?
Oh, we got it all.
Oh my Lord.
I've got a fat box right here.
Oh.
Yeah. So this
There it
is
is.
the arcade and the console. So there are 2 physicals in here.
Oh.
Oh,
I got the cheap version, which is just like a normal price game.
Yep.
I really wanted that one, I just couldn't do it. And then they brought it out here in the U.S. But I'm not even sure I understand. It seems complicated to me. There's like more than one version. Is it just one is arcade and one is console? Is that it?
I haven't actually cracked these, and it's been a while since I've looked at the list, so I'm not 100% sure what the differences are. But I know from my normal Darius one that like you've got Darius 1, 2, Darius Gaia, and Darius Gaiden. And some of those, I think like 1 and 2 have the 3 versions each. And Sagaya might have 2 versions or something like that. So you've got a lot of versions. Yeah, you got the same one, I think.
But I'm missing a lot of games because you couldn't get all the games unless you got that.
Yeah. They left some out. Plus, we got this wicked interior art.
Whoa!
Yeah, how lame is that?
What?
Hey, it works for the Beatles.
Snowstorm.
Yeah, exactly. It's gorgeous. I don't get it, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, like this one, the first Darius, it has old, new, and extra version.
Yeah, those. Oh, that's another one. Just like Gunbird, when I played Darius for the first time, I was just blown away. Like, never have I seen a game like that where everything is aquatic. Like the bosses are just these huge sea creatures, and
Isn't the pixel art amazing in those games?
it is. Yeah, and the music is so messed and wonky, but like it's like techno opera or something. It's so strange.
So did you play the original one? Because I wasn't really that familiar with Darius, to be honest. And I looked up the arcade cabinet. In arcade cabinets, the monitors, instead of being like this, they were like stretched out. It was wasn't very tall, and it was really wide.
Really, yeah, totally.
And that's how it is on your TV. It's almost like watching a movie that's not a 16:9, but it's even shorter. Yeah. And so they did that on the game, for the Switch, so you could kind of experience what it looked like in the arcade.
Definitely.
You can see so much of the screen.
Oh, for sure. And I think originally I've read something where like it actually used to be 3 different screens for the arcades.
Wow.
Yeah. Just to like give you the full spectrum or whatever.
Hey, I was watching you play In the Hunt earlier.
Oh man.
And the pixel art in that game is just crazy. It's a submarine shoot 'em up, which is nuts. You're in a submarine. You can shoot forward. You can shoot up.
Yeah.
And,
you don't even want to get me started on that one.
If you get to the very top of the water, your missiles can shoot out of the water. If not at the top, they just disappear when it hits the top of the water.
Yeah.
You can give your enemies Das Boot.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, right.
I haven't seen that in years, but I thoroughly enjoyed that. But yeah, In the Hunt is gorgeous. Like the explosions, everything, the backgrounds, the sprites of the character, the ships, and all that stuff. Super, super cool.
Do you know who made that game? It's an interesting thing. It's Nazca, which is the same group that they worked for Irem, I guess.
Yes.
They did the Metal Slug series.
Yeah.
And you can really tell it looks like Metal Slug underwater.
Yeah, totally. It's funny because I was actually researching some of the ins and outs of in the Hunt just last week, and I came across something interesting. I think in Argentina, Mexico, and somewhere else, there were bootlegged copies going around, and they just were selling them as like Metal. What was it? Metal Slug Submarine was like the title for the Mexican version of the bootlegged copy. So it's just crazy what was going on.
But that studio was very interesting because they all used fake names, and to this day, not many people really know who the heck made these games because they would use pseudonyms.
Crazy.
Which is really weird because this is some of the most beautiful artwork you've ever seen in your life, and these guys really didn't get credit for it because they all use these goofy names, which is really weird. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I've never heard of that, but whatever floats their boat.
Now here, Mike said there's a Robo Aleste for Sega CD. I've never heard of that version. I imagine that's probably pretty pricey.
Jeff, do you have the micro Game Gear handy?
It's in the box. So this comes with 6 games on a Switch cartridge, and they're Game Gear games. And they made a brand new one just this year for this collection. So
I've still got to get that, seriously.
They made a game for the Game Gear, and it actually works on the Game Gear because this is a Game Gear Micro. I think that's what they're calling it.
I think so, yeah.
It might even be smaller than a Micro. It's crazy. And so in Japan last year, they came out with 4 Game Gear micros, and each one had different games on it. This is a 5th one. I didn't get those because to get the whole package was crazy expensive. But here's this, and let's see, I turn it on. Oh.
Whoa! What?
Oh, it might be out of juice. Sorry.
No worries.
I just played it when it first came out.
It's all good.
But yeah, all the games that are on the cartridge for the Switch are on here, which is interesting.
That is so cool.
But you know, when I was playing it, I mean, look at the size of that screen. It's just ridiculous.
I know. I'm like,
even though it's a shooter, I could still see the bullets that I was avoiding. Wasn't bad. And it even comes with that crazy attachment you put on here for was a magnifying glass.
yeah.
Oh my God, you just reminded me for the first time in years that the Game Boy had something like that.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that I used to have that.
I know why it's not working. I don't have batteries in it.
There you go.
That's when I played it. That's what I did. I played it. It's got a micro USB here, or a micro USB, and I plugged it in just to play it. I don't have any AAA batteries. I need to get some for that. What's weird is it takes 2 AAA. This thing's so small. Here, do you want to see the magnifying glass, Dace?
I would love to. It's crazy the price of that collection when I was looking anyway. We obviously chatted about this on Twitter, but yeah, some people were charging like over $300 and then like 200 shipping or something outrageous.
Insane, because on Amazon Japan, it wasn't even close to that.
Yeah.
I don't know why PlayAsia was doing that.
Was that magnifying piece? Is that what Next Level Gaming's talking about? Was the Game Eye? Is that what?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
Worth $153 according to. Oh no, Game Eye is a place where you check on it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry, and he's talking about the game probably ahead of that.
A little magnifying glass.
Oh my
That's
god!
so cool.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
It comes in 3 pieces. I'm not sure how to put it together.
You need a magnifying glass just to put it together.
Here you go. It kind of looks like this.
That is so wild.
That's crazy.
Is that nuts?
That reminds me of the thing we used to use to look at film and stuff.
Oh, the loop.
The loop.
Yeah. It'd be funny if that magnifier had another magnifier attachment.
Yeah, like the glasses where.
Yeah, exactly.
I like this comment here by Darren. Yeah. The worm light.
Darren, I was just
Game Boy.
Just reminiscing with Autumn about the worm lights for Game Boy Color way back.
They
years ago.
Yeah.
You kind of need it if you want to see the screen.
That's right.
Definitely. But one thing I noticed for myself anyway is like if I was playing at night and I was using that, the light was so bright that half the time it would just be like this glaring blotch in the middle of the screen.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm just not gonna play.
Can't play in the light. Can't play out of the light.
Yeah, there's a big bright circle just blinding you. Hilarious.
They should have just come up with games where it had a dot in the middle, just nothing happening, and then
Yes.
that's where their glare is. So let's just
Here, this thing, the official name.
Big Window Micro. That's like when I was a kid and they had Big Little books.
Can't get more Japanese than that.
That's what we should do sometime. Is we need to do a show about Japanese renditions for titles of American movies.
I'd be down.
Those are hilarious. Make
Well,
a cabinet for my.
game has got a Vectrex. Oh, I'd love to have that.
I've never heard of Vectrex.
It's like a black box. It's a rectangle like this. And you know, you've played Asteroids, right?
No, I actually haven't, but
Well,
I'm aware of it.
Have you ever seen it in person?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because they use vector graphics and it's like really bright kind of lights, but it just sticks pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep.
With Vectrex, that's all they played were vector games like that.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think
70s, early 80s, somewhere around there.
yeah, because Ripoff was a vectored game. Space Duel was a vectored game. Even though it had a lot of different colors, it was still a vectored game. And they had one of the ships looked like the USS Enterprise, and one of the other ships looked like something else you'd seen too. But Space Duel made it on the cover of what album, Jeff?
Space Duel?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It was on the cover of The Who. Why can't I think of the name of the album?
Whomper.
It's 2 words. It came out after Face Dances.
I've got to look this up.
It's Hard. The album was It's Hard.
Wait, Space Duel, the arcade game?
Yeah.
Is that the one that looks like some kind of futuristic cabinet?
No, not really.
What's the one?
It was
No, that's not it. The one that's like really old. It's like one piece and it kind of comes up like this and it's got the screen in it. It's in that video I was just watching the other day.
I don't know.
I love the sound of worm whomper.
It just makes you want to play it, doesn't it? Worm Whomper.
Space Wars.
It sounds like something you'd call your buddy, like if you ran around in Star Wars. Yeah, you're nothing but a worm whomper.
Yeah, so true. I've researched Space Wars relic.
Space Wars. Maybe
I think that was 1965 or 66 or something.
Wow.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Space Wars.
I've actually played a sample of that on a website that had it live or something. And yeah, that is, yeah.
Next Level Gaming, all caps.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All caps. Never played Asteroids? It does seem strange. It does. It's like, here we're talking about games and you're like, wait, haven't played Asteroids?
Yeah, well, I think it's fair because I only got into shooters 2018, so
right.
that's my excuse anyway.
So, what did you play prior to that? I mean, what were
you playing before that?
Well, growing up, like we had Nintendo, like original Nintendo, so Mega Man, stuff like that. Yeah. When I got into other things, yeah, there you go.
This is the computer space. That's what I was trying to think of.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that is so wild to see.
This was in a music video in the 90s. I can't think of the name of it again. It's got a very strange name to it. Something full of Asha. I can't remember. But there's this little girl. She's playing 45s in her room. And in the corner of her room is a cabinet for computer space. I'm like, what the heck? What is that? How'd that get there?
That's so cool.
What were you saying, Dace?
Yeah, so like when I got onto PlayStation and stuff, RPGs were just the only thing I touched, like Final Fantasy, The Legend of Dragoon, Chrono Cross, Kudelka, just like whatever I could get my hands on, really. Jade Cocoon, Grandia, Xenogears, stuff like that. And then, interestingly enough, I stopped gaming after, like, the PlayStation 2 was the last thing I had until I got the Switch.
I was going to ask you about PlayStation.
Yeah. So, and it's not that I never played. Like, I still kept playing my RPGs and stuff for years, but there was a period from like I think 2015 to 2017 where I didn't touch any games at all. And so when Switch came out, that's when I got back into gaming for the first time in 2 years, and it was just, yeah, the rest was history.
Right. Did you ever play Kingdom Hearts?
No, I didn't. I've watched one of my friends played that when we were in high school, and I've watched a buddy stream a bit of that as well, or one of them, I think number 3, maybe, I'm not sure.
Right.
But yeah, really, really cool looking games. I was never drawn to it myself. I think it was just the whole Disney vibe, mixed with like familiar RPG characters, kind of just threw me off. But I won't really judge it though because I haven't played it. So
yeah, I need to get back into it. My wife bought it for me a few years ago. I bought a PlayStation 2 many years after it was out, used, and it was right. I suppose I got mine right after the PS3 came out.
Okay,
is when I got a PS2.
Yeah,
because I was completely amazed when I started going back and buying games for it, and I realized that they made a Toy Story 3 game that should, I mean, it was at the time of PlayStation 3, so it should have just been a PS3 game, but the PS2 was still doing so well that games were still selling for it, that they made a PlayStation 2 version of it.
Interesting.
I flipped out, and I was talking to my friend about it. I'm like, what is going on? And he said, yeah, no, the games still almost outsell the PS3.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think in terms of RPGs, like I've played some new ones, but like there was such a golden age of RPGs for PlayStation. Like I've recollected some because at one point I got rid of some of my originals, but I'm getting back in the mode of kind of reobtaining some of those that I let go of.
Yeah.
And especially for shmups, like just this past Christmas, Autumn got me a copy of Solar Striker because I had gotten rid of my original a number of years ago.
Yeah.
So that kind of just inspired me, like, oh, I'm going to take a look at what other shmups might be on the Nintendo retro handheld systems. And I was blown away by how many shmups are on Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, like you name it. So right now I have a few on order, and I'm just stoked to acquire and just play these classics that I never knew were on these systems.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess there's not really a good way to show that, like in a video, is there? The handhelds.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I do know that. I mean, I know they, companies had like these special, contraptions where you hook it up to your handheld that could stream to a TV, or it could play on a TV. That was mainly for like websites and magazines that.
Oh, I see.
Reviews are trying to capture video.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, the great thing about the SNES Mini is I can record that, and the fact that my friend has put a ton of games on there, as long as it can be played by that system, I can record it just like I'm recording Switch. So that's been a huge plus. I've been able to revisit certain games that I wouldn't be able to record otherwise.
Right.
I haven't done that to any of my minis yet. I really should do that because
apparently it's really easy now. Like when he did ours, he gave it to us for Christmas in 2018. It was like a slog just to sort all that out. But he says that since then the process has been like really streamlined. So
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to stream these old systems.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, should we give away the book?
I was gonna say you
Sure,
read
why
my
not?
mind.
All right. I saw OEB Pete. I've seen him a few times give stuff away, and he did stuff like he'd go where he asked people in chat to guess the number from like 1 to 1,000, and whoever's closest gets it.
Ooh.
And what happens is we'll write the number in the private chat, so we know it's on the up and up. And I'm going to say if you go over, it doesn't make any difference. Just whoever's closest to the number.
All right.
All right, so let's do that. Dace, why don't you in private chat
Pick a number.
pick a number from 1 to 1,000,
Yikes.
and
All
then
right.
everyone who wants a shot at the book, go ahead and give us your best shot. Write down
All
your
right.
number.
Added the number.
All right.
And if there's a tie, we'll just do it. We'll do it all over again with just those two people.
we need the Jeopardy theme.
I know.
Meow 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 meow.
Wait, that was Meow Mix, wasn't it?
What?
Was that Meow Mix?
That was meow mix. Oh yeah. Meow meow meow. Well, my friend back home, she and I love that commercial where they did the meow mix, and it was all the different. They had like Peter Lorre, meow, 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 and they had the what was the gal that they had? What was the
Peter Lorre.
She always smiled. Really, Carol Channing,
Channing.
and then meow meow meow, and then they had Louis Armstrong, meow meow meow.
William Shatner would be a good one for that.
Meow, meow, meow. Could do you could do Sean Connery. Meow, meow, meow. Yeah, don't say anything. Just
Hey, is there any shmups coming up in 2021 you're looking forward to?
Yes, there are. Whether I can think of them off the top of my head, I'm not sure, but oh man, I know there are some for sure.
well, I'm eager for you to check out the Moon Patrol stuff.
Yeah, I specifically want to do that one and do that one soon, like
Especially
maybe
since it's on the Switch,
Yep,
the original, and then you can also download the Amico app. That's what it is. It's the Amico app is what that is, and then and you can check that out. That's free. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
The only thing is obviously playing on the phone is the controls are not that fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, once it comes out on the real system and you got your controller, Papa Pete is sticking with 4.
I'm sticking with 4.
All right, we'll give him another minute or two to see if there's anyone else in here.
Get your numbers in, peeps.
I was gonna say, how many do we have so far? We have
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. Okay.
Let's see. That's probably about what we have in there right now.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, because we got Relic Gamer was the first one to drop a number, and then Pete,
Papa Pete,
and Darren, and Next Level Gaming, and Lance.
So hold on, real quicker. Let me see.
So yeah, it's a fun read. It's really cool. Check it out on. You can get it on Amazon.
Definitely.
Let's see what.
Thanks. I think you got a couple more subscribers here tonight. I know.
Super cool. Thanks to everybody. Like, I haven't been glued to the comments, so if I've missed it, I apologize. But yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm trusting the channel lives up to everyone and their expectations.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here. You can get this on paperback, and how do you pronounce it's Dace?
Anaxarus.
Yeah. See, I did all right.
Yeah, you did perfect.
Now, my only other question too about the book, it's $6.50. That's it, $6.50. You can get it. And the cover is really cool. Where'd you get the cover done?
About that.
Yeah, we were talking about that. So we use a website called Canva, or like an app called Canva, and we pay for the pro account or whatever. So
Yeah.
it allows me to use artwork that other people have submitted. So that's not my creation. I've just put the font and everything on top of that.
Very cool.
But you have the license to just use it however you will.
Right.
So
Yeah, I know that there was. I went and did a gig a couple of years ago, and there was a band there that was really impressive. And I looked at their newest album, and I knew that they were local guys.
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Where did you get this album artwork?" And they said, "Well, there's a website out there where people will put their artwork, and you can see their style, and you pick an artist from that, and then they will do it.
Yep.
You tell them what your theme is, and they'll do some artwork based on that." And I said, "Well, how much was that?" I mean, and he goes, "It was $800.
Holy smokes.
Just $800 to get a whole album cover done, though. I mean, you got to remember back in the day, I compare that because this was beautiful artwork that they had on their cover. I'm like, holy crap, where'd you get this? But I mean, back in the day, you had somebody like, he's one of my favorite artists. Come on.
Come on, Stu. Come on.
Any other day I can think of it off the top of my head. Used to work for Photoshop too. John Taylor Dismukes. There it is. John Taylor Dismukes did a few album covers that people might know, but he did a Badlands album cover. But the one of them that he did was for Keel. He did a couple of Keel album covers, but the one that he did that I was talking to my friend about, to Ron Keel about, is the Ships Coming Out. It's called The Final Frontier. Really cool album cover. And Gene Simmons produced the record, and from Kiss, and he went into the MCA meeting with this 15 by 15 painting that John Taylor Dismukes had done, set it on the table. He goes, "This will cost you," I think he said it was $15,000, and this is the album artwork. It's going to cost you $15,000. There you go.
15,000.
Wild.
Yeah, but yeah, John Taylor Dismukes used to work for that Photoshop.
All right, here we go. The winner of the book, the original Next Level Gaming.
Oh, congrats.
Mike, send me your shipping information on Twitter.
Congratulations.
Twitter.
Twitter.
Oh, nice. I liked yours. That was good. Twitter. Very good, man. Twitter. Get it, Twitter. Twitter. So many ways to say it.
Hopefully, I think Mike's still here. Do you think he just took off?
Well, he's probably laying on the floor unconscious because he won the book. He's, oh my God.
Yeah, Pete was holding steady at 4.
Yeah, I should have taken 9.
He said 4, and then he said still 4.
If he'd have done it one more time, we could almost have given it to him.
Yeah, true.
444.
The number was 444.
So Boston. I'm thinking of a number. It's 444. I think I'll get some coffee.
Thanks a lot for coming by. This was awesome. I could talk shmups all night long.
Yeah.
I love these games.
No
expert at all, but I really love playing them.
I don't consider myself an expert. I just love to play them and love to get other people excited to play them too. So
you literally wrote the book on shmups.
It's true.
Well, we'd love to have you back on the show sometime again.
Yeah, I love that. I've had a blast just hanging out with you guys. I think it's fantastic. So
and we'll definitely do an Ordine show soon.
That would be cool.
And it'll be in your honor. So
amazing.
Yeah. Thanks for the book. That's
worries.
Great. I can't wait till I get my copy, and then I'll send you my audio version of it.
Sweet.
See how you like it.
Yeah, awesome.
to be part of my reel. I have to get to doing that. That's something I really want to do. So
Excellent.
that'll be helpful. But yeah, thanks for the information. Thanks for the time. Thanks for being another brother from Canada.
I know.
Pleasure has
Another person from Canada. How about that?
Yeah. Do we have a few Canadians around or something? Or
Papa Pete.
Papa
in a
Pete,
way.
he's in Eastern Canada.
Okay, sweet.
Yep. And OEB Pete is, of course.
Yeah. He's not here right now. There was, I don't know, we know what, 4 or 5 guys from Canada.
And we interviewed Francois a few weeks ago.
Oh, that's
I
right.
saw that one actually.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Lance. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Relic Gamer. DJC. Thank you, everybody. I know I missed somebody. Next Level Gaming. Thank you very much, everybody. Man, it was great.
Everyone in chat was super polite and just super awesome to.
Yeah. We had a great chat tonight.
Yeah, these guys are
fun, asking questions.
Yeah, these guys are brilliant too. Like I said, I know that there's a lot of guys with so much information, and somebody might be out there. I wanted to especially, have you with us to do this because I see a lot of these guys, the stuff that they know. I'm like, they might be guys that might want to do a book. That's kind of why I wanted to know how long your book was, because it can give people the idea that, hey, I don't have to write a freaking huge ass book and just be a nice consolidated view of something and shed light on something. So
totally. Totally. I have a next book which is almost finished, and what it does is it kind of touches on the history and the evolution of the shmup genre. So I'm really excited about that.
Sweet.
And so but it's interesting because I'm no expert when it comes to the knowledge. Like, I know people who are actually playing these games actively way back will be way more knowledgeable than myself, but you just put the time into researching, and it's amazing what you can kind of just put together in a nice little package. So
right. Far out.
All right, so we'll let everyone go. It was a great show. Thanks everyone for showing up. Thank you, Dace.
Thank you guys for having me here. I loved it.
Everyone go check out his channel, Shmuptopia.
Yep, I subscribe.
Oh, thank you.
Dace, just just hang on after we end the broadcast. Hang on just for a little bit.
Yeah, sure. No worries.
All right. So we are, as Papa Pete would say, we are Go Game Gone.
Go Game Gone.
See you, everybody.